People play a very important role in our lives. A very important role. Our whole world is, in a way, constructed and depends on people. The way we perceive the world and the way we perceive ourselves and the way we perceive other people is all dependent on other people. There would be no society and no culture without other people. And our perception of the world and the assumptions and beliefs we hold about the world has all come from a collective mind. Has all come from the collective human mind. The way we perceive ourselves in the world it depends on other people. We didn't choose the beliefs that we hold today, or the assumptions that we hold today. All the beliefs and assumptions that we hold were programmed into us by other people that had been programmed with beliefs and assumptions from other people. But it's all coming from other people, you see. So people play a very large role in our lives, because the very way that we perceive life and assume and believe things to be, it all comes from other people. And you see, one of the things that I want to do in life is to break away from that. I want to reclaim my independency. I don't want to be trapped and confined into the collective beliefs and assumptions of other people. I don't want to believe the beliefs that I am aware of, because they're not mine. Who I think I am, like conventionally, who I think I am a lot of the time, which is who most people think they are, is, like this body and this mind, this personality, this face, this body, these recurring thoughts, these stories I have about myself and the world, this whole narrative and all this, who I think I am, this body mind, all that is, it can't be me. It can't be who I am, because all that depends on like an infinite web of causes and conditions in which I never chose. There is no separate doer. There is no separate controller of life other than nature itself. There is no separate thing that is in control. You see, you're not in control, I'm not in control. Everything that's coming out of my mouth right now, and the birds that are flying by, and the cars that are going across the highway that I see, everything that's happening right now is just nature doing its thing, with no separate controller. You see, my mouth moving right now is not the act of my own individual volition or will. Likewise, the birds that are flying in the sky, the birds aren't flying. Nature's just flying itself in the form of a bird. You see, who I am, or rather, who I think I am, for the majority of the time, is in fact just a web of interconnectedness, interdependency. Everything that's happened ever has contributed to this body mind. Usually we think that, I'm in control. I'm the one with the steering wheel. I'm in charge of my life. I do what I want. I do all this, right? We think that we are doing stuff. We think we are thinking stuff and, doing what, having control and volition. We think that that's how it works, but there is so many factors that contribute to who you are right now. You never chose to be born, and so you go all the way back there to your birth, trace it back there, and then you can realize that, well, everything that's happened since I was born, how can that ever be in my control? I didn't choose what parents I was going to have or what siblings. I didn't choose where I was going to live in the world. I didn't choose the environment I was going to grow up in. I didn't choose the people that were going to be my direct experience. I didn't choose what kind of food I was going to be fed. I didn't choose what kind of TV I was going to be fed. I didn't choose what kind of, all these things. And you may say, well, it's like, well, no, I do have choice. Like, I have choice now, but you see, the choices that you think you have now are based on your previous choices, which are based on your previous choices, which are based on your previous choices, all the way back until your birth, which you never chose. You see, if you never chose the very foundation, then you didn't choose anything else, because it's all coming from that. It's all coming from the past. The next thought that you have is dependent on an infinite number of other causes that, you didn't choose. Other people are doing shit, nature's doing shit, and you're responding to that. And the way that you respond to it, even that is not in your control, because it's nature. Nature is running through you, it's coursing through your veins. It's just all nature, and there's no separate doer with free will. It's just nature interconnecting with itself. And the thoughts you have are all just interdependent with everything else. And so it's quite easy to grasp this intellectually, but it's a whole nother thing to actually know this within your whole being experientially. And this is what I'm trying to achieve, in a sense. Intellectually, I know there's no kind of separate doer, there's no kind of separate entity. It's all just an interconnectedness. And I've experienced it, but because really what I'm after is the truth. Not some story about the truth. I'm after the moon, not the finger pointing at the moon. concepts do you no good if you can't actually experience what the concepts are pointing towards. All thoughts and concepts about truth is just a pointer, a signpost to the truth. But the truth can never be held within a concept or a thought or a belief or speech. It's just a pointer. So don't confuse the concepts with the actual thing. So anyway, I'm going to go back around here to full circle and talk about the role of people. The role of people in our lives. You see, who we identify with most of the time is this mind and this body, which, like I said, is not really you or yours, because you never chose anything. And the way that you perceive reality is dependent on everybody else. But once you can free your identification from the body and the mind, once you realize that there is no separate free will, then you're not confined by this body and this mind. You're not confined by the pre-packaged programs that you are operating on. This body and this mind that it's operating on. Because you realize that was never you in the first place. And so you're no longer confined by the opinions and expectations of other people. Because you realize there's no separate person that has a will that's projecting their opinion or expectation or judgment onto you. It's just nature doing its thing. It's just interconnectedness doing its thing, and it can't be any way else. Like, there's a sense of resistance that gets dissolved, because life is what it is, and you may not like it, you may not like what life is, but it is, and you can't argue with that. You have to accept that, and if you don't accept it, then you have to accept that you don't accept it. And so the role of people becomes different when you're free of their expectations and judgments, when you're free of resistance. Where I'm at now, I feel, is I'm starting to get a greater sense of gratitude and love and appreciation for the people in my life. Because I'm gaining an understanding of who people are. Because I'm gaining an understanding of who I am. You see, if you want to understand who other people are, if you want to if you're into psychology and you really want to understand the human mind and other people and why people do the things that they do, why they do the things that they do, and understand what's going on, and you can just look at someone and you can, if you want to be able to just look at someone and understand what's going on internally for them, if you want to understand psychologically what's happening with other people, all you have to do is question who you are. But you have to investigate yourself in the present moment and not get lost in thoughts and concepts about who you are. Like, you're here right now, you don't need some story or concept about who you are. Like, you're here right now. It's like, you don't need a belief or a concept to know something exists. I can put my hand out here and it's right there. It's like, oh, that's there, that, whatever this is, who the fuck knows what it is, a concept or a thought calls it a hand with skin and veins and whatever. But, whatever it is, whatever your mind comes up with it, the fact of the matter is, whatever this is, it's there, it exists, and you don't actually need a concept to know what this hand is. Like, it's right there. You don't need a concept of, like, it's not just like the hand's not there and then you have a concept of the hand and the hand's there, It's there. You don't need anything to understand it. Anyway, my storage is getting low, so I'm going to wrap this up. Basically, if you want to understand people, understand who you are directly in this moment. But anyway, yeah, because then you'll understand other people. And with a greater understanding gives you a greater capacity for love and compassion and acceptance of other people and a gratitude, and this is the hard bit from where I'm at right now, because I'm attached to people, I'm attached to life itself, I'm attached to love and gratitude, I'm attached to just the awe-inspiringness of existence itself, and it's hard to let that go, because of course it's fucking hard to let that go, but I feel I must do that, because at the end of the day everything's passing away, and one day any sense of continuity is going to be gone, because I'm going to die. This body and this mind's going to die, along with all its loved ones and continued passions and memories, and all that's going to be gone, and that's a hard thing to accept, because as time goes on, I'm enjoying life more and more, just unconditionally, like, just because it's life, just because this is it. And it includes all this kind of love for people, and so it's hard to let go of people. But if you want to be free, you've got to let go of people, because they're going to die, and you have to realize that they're going to die. And you have to realize that experientially in your whole being, if you want to be free truly. You can't let other people hold you back, even if it's because you love them so much. You've got to even let go of that individual love, that attachment, and step into a greater, more spacious operating system that, in a sense, is more loving, but not the kind of love that you usually feel. It's a cold love. It's a cold love, but it's infinite. It's not a contracted, smaller, separate love that you have for an individual thing or person. It's infinite love. It's love for everything and nothing. So anyway, my storage is running out on my phone, so that's all for today. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.